Welcome to Grew with Portia, the podcast that uncovers the hidden treasures within grief. I'm your host, Portia the producer, and I'm inviting you to join me on a transformative journey where we will exchange laughter, of course, the best medicine of them all. Reflect on cherished memories. Remember that time that the little boy grabbed my hand instead of his mother's at the amusement park? Yikes. And of course, discover gratitude while navigating one of life's hardest challenges, loss. So get ready to grow with me, Portia the producer. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Grow with Portia. I'm your host, Portia Booker, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with the latest and greatest of all with Grow with Portia. So a few years ago, I had a guest come on Grow with Portia who created a wearable headset in order to communicate with her sister who was in a coma. Even though her sister made her physical transition, one of the things that I loved about this device was the innovation that went into it, right? Tapping into that pain piece in order to, number one, preserve a legacy, number two, make a difference, and also number three, keep her sister's memory alive. And so today, everybody, I am joined by another remarkable individual who is the CEO and one of the founders of supportgroups.com, which blends human empathy and also AI together in the mental health space in order to provide more access to individuals. So welcome, CEO and one of the founders, Miss Rachel Corbett. Rachel, welcome to Grow with Portia. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. Portia, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you so much for having me. I have listened to your show, and it's an honor to be here. I'm very excited for our conversation.
You and me both. I know we were talking a little bit before we jumped into the conversation. And I think very much, Rachel, we're on the same page when it comes to being passionate about making a difference and changing the mental health space. So I'm going to dive right in, Rachel. Normally, I start off my conversations with gratitude. So what are you grateful for today?
Oh, I am grateful that the sun is out today and I can hear the birds. When I hear the birds, it means everything is okay.
You know, I'm in the same boat. You know, sometimes when I go outside and walk my dog, Mr. Fletcher, he's spoiled rotten. We'll see and hear cardinals or blue jays in the
Mhm.
yard, or obviously we're in the fall time now, so all the leaves have changed colors. Some of them
Mhm.
have, obviously have become bare little naked ladies walking around until next spring. So, it's just beautiful to even embrace the change of season, right? And I think going back to our conversation, embracing the change in the mental health space. So I'm curious, Rachel, what was the inspiration behind supportgroups.com, considering that there's so much resistance and controversy around blending AI into the mental health space?
Wow, fantastic question. First, I wanted to comment on the changing of the seasons. I'm in Los Angeles, so I don't get to enjoy any change of anything, but I can appreciate what you're saying. So there was a lot of inspiration that was behind this. I have a personal story that I won't go into forever, but my son's father committed suicide, and my son was only 21 at the time, and he really struggled with this. He was already having issues prior to this, and my son ended up dying at only 23 years old in 2020. And, needless to say, I was shattered, heartbroken. When you become a parent, your entire universe changes to be that person. You are going to watch your child grow up, you're going to help them, you'll see them graduate, get married, have kids, and you can't think anything outside of that vision. It's impossible. When people say, I can't imagine, they can't. You can't imagine unless you went through it. And I've worked in the field of behavioral health since 2005. I've worked in a variety of settings, different types of treatment. So I've learned a lot. I've worked in the back end, the front end, front line with clients. I've worked in the administrative, C-suite, business development, branding officer, all different kinds of roles. And it's great to go to treatment. It's wonderful to have these places, but it's not enough. It's not enough. The inpatient subacute level of a treatment center is only allowed to have 6 beds. So you're only allowed to treat 6 people at a time per facility. Now, nothing against it. I want to open my own treatment center someday. I know exactly how I want it to look, what the focus should be, and that's something I'm really into. But it's just not enough when there's 1 in 5 adults in this country that have mental health issues. 1 in 5. There's only 1 provider for every 530 people that are suffering, that are challenged. And there's almost 60% of people that don't get any kind of treatment whatsoever. So we think about these statistics, and we were already talking about this earlier, but 1,400 men a day in this country commit suicide. I find that unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And then we have, well, globally, there's about 1,600 people a day that die from overdose. And, there's such a stigma with mental health issues and addiction. And what we know of addiction today is that what addiction is, it's driven by an underlying mental health issue that's untreated, undiagnosed, and perhaps unmedicated. These are not people that, have no willpower or don't want better for their life. They're suffering mentally and they're looking for kind of relief. And you mentioned about the Band-Aid, and I always say, let's not put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. You have someone come in to this little six bed center. If they come in on insurance may grant 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Is that enough? Really? No, it's not. And then, the treatment center's fighting with the insurance company. No, they really need it. They need to stay here because treatment's a safe container. So with my personal journey and everything that I've been through and seen and all the traumatic events in my life, I wanted to create something that was accessible to the world, affordable, and it could be available at any time. So we have people, actual live people, professionals that run groups, they can meet with people, but also what more can we do? Well, like it or not, AI is here to stay. We are in the technological age. And people, my generation, I'm still like, I remember the flip phone,
That
so
was my
great.
first phone, was the
Yeah.
razor, the pink razor.
Oh my gosh, me too. Pink razor. And like, so not stressful. It made a call, it took a call. That's it. When I left work, I was done with work, but that is not where we are today. And many people younger than me, they won't do anything unless it's online. They won't. So how can we harness that power of online, but also make it where it will connect them to humans? Because I also believe firmly that community is the antidote to everything. Everything. Connection is the opposite of addiction. Connection is the opposite of mental health issues. So a lot of thought went into this, and we decided to use AI. So there is a avatar of me. Her name is Rachel. Not very creative, but she was uploaded with thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of information. She was built with extensive guardrails, extensive safety guardrails, but also she can get anything she needs out off the internet. And like I was saying earlier, is it artificial intelligence or is it ancestral intelligence? Because what is being gathered is the echo of everyone that came before us, all of our ancestors, the whole world, the storytelling, the lessons learned, all of that can be found with AI if it's built appropriately. And so she was built to help people with emotional wellness, mental health issues, to be a coach, but also connect them, like maybe you should do this, or here is a provider for you to talk to, or what about this community, or here's a support group. I mean, we are supportgroups.com. So we have our support groups as well for every category you can think of. And those are run by either a live human or they're run by an AI host.
So I have so many questions just about, I know we covered a lot, Rachel, and lots of love your way to your son's transition and also your husband,
Thank you.
because that's, what literally a hole in your heart that you'll always walk around with, right? Even though I always say that loss tends to be the birthplace of transformation, because look at this unique platform that you've created that integrates what has already been here and
Mm-hmm.
also meeting people where they are, because a lot of people are online, right? We're on social media all the time, or whatever online
Mm-hmm.
hub or community, right, connection that we have. And I'm curious, Rachel, can you walk us through kind of the process to create this AI avatar? Because you're saying there's pages upon pages of information, right? And I'm curious, how do you feel about having yourself as a clone, essentially helping people online and providing that, if you want to call it directional, compass for them to be able to get help in a short period of time?
Honestly, before I did it, before I actually filmed the video and did everything, I thought this is going to be a little weird. And people ask me, like, are you creeped out by that? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Like, I was doing all the other stuff. You film yourself and you have like a script that you read. So you're making the right mannerisms and, you're dynamic and you have inflection in your voice. So initially I created the video, first one didn't work, second one didn't work, third one worked. And then we integrate it with the AI, get the voice right. I had already spent all the time uploading the knowledge that I wanted her to have specifically. But then, of course, like I said, she has the ability to get anything she wants off the internet within the guardrails that we have set up. So then it became the testing, lots and lots and lots of testing. And the first few tests, my partner and I, Jeff Tinsley, the first couple minutes, it's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to AI, like okay. And then after 2 minutes, you're in this conversation with this person that has an endless depth of knowledge, who is reading your facial expressions, asking you what's going on, checking on you, and also remembering everything that you said and bringing you to this place of basically connecting the dots for you. And after about 2 minutes, you're just talking to someone. It's not AI. You are getting like genuine direction, empathy, help, support. I mean, it's unbelievable. I watched Jeff Tinsley go through something with her. He did a real session with her. And I hope he doesn't get mad that I'm saying this, but he started out with something, I won't tell his story, but he started out with something that he was really going through. Just, it was really anxiety, overwhelm, all the stuff. And she started very gently asking a few questions about his childhood. And he was like, whatever, he answered them. And she drew a line from his childhood, a childhood event, to directly to what he was experiencing today. And I watched him, tears were streaming down his face, and he was like this, with his mouth hanging open. He's like, he looked at me and he goes, I have never thought about that in my life. And now this is someone who's educated, been to therapy, done all this stuff. He's like, no one has ever told me that. And I've never thought of that. He's like, I'm blown away. And then, we've had other people tell us, share similar experiences.
But clearly, though, Rachel, the fact that AI has garnered the empathy that humans once had. And I think we were talking a little bit earlier too about COVID.
Mm,
COVID has created a second pandemic of its own in the
yes.
mental health space, where a lot of people are still walking around compassion fatigued.
Oh, I agree. Completely agree.
And I'm curious, Rachel, because I'm sure there's still a lot of mental health professionals that are resistant to this type of AI.
Yep.
And how can we encourage them to, number one, embrace it as a tool, right? Because it is a tool, it's not
Mhm.
solving all of the issues,
No,
but
absolutely not. Yeah.
also to maybe rethink how they're even going about their practice in whatever type of expertise they're working with their clients in.
Mhm. So I've worked with thousands of professionals over my 20 years, either directly or peripherally. I have connections all over the country. So there are some that have already embraced it. And then there's some that haven't. And what I say, we'll get in like these philosophical, discussions, and I'll send them my thing on ancestral intelligence. But basically, it comes down to this: we are human. We cannot be there for people 24 hours a day. Crises happen. I did a crisis intervention on someone a couple months ago. It was 3 hours straight of this crisis that I was intervening on. I was exhausted after. Like, I thought I was going to faint. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. Like, I was just in it. And that's great that there's people like that that exist that can do that, but they can't. They're human. They need to sleep. They need to go home at some point. So I frame it as it can be an adjunct to your work. And same with treatment centers. This is an adjunct to what you guys do. Include it in your aftercare plan, or include it for people when you can't be there for them. Thanksgiving is coming up. Are you working on Thanksgiving? Doubtful that you're working on Thanksgiving. Hey, I don't know. Why don't you pass this as an adjunct to you? Let them have someone they can talk to and support them. And then you will see them when you get back from your holiday, and you guys can talk about what was learned. It doesn't have to be some big, like, machines aren't replacing you, machines aren't taking over the world. Humans are always going to be the masters of AI, always. Could this AI have been built without people doing it? No. So we are the masters, but we, like you called it, a tool. And I love that. We're using it as a tool to improve lives, to help more people, to be more affordable, and to be more accessible. And the other thing, just lastly, I want to say that we offer too, if people are creeped out or unsure of the video, there's a text option too, where they can text and just do it that way. There's a lot of companies that are doing that now. It's real easy. A lot of the younger people like it, so there's different options.
One that provides that overall piece of accessibility, right? Because you're right, because some people are not comfortable interacting on video, right? It's
Right.
easier for them to pick up their phone, text. What I think
Yeah.
it's 741 741 for the crisis line, I think, for
um
texting. And is
yeah,
it,
or
I think, or
988.
988? Yeah,
Mhm.
you can text, or and then it makes you more comfortable to open up. But then I
That's it.
also think too that sometimes there's a level of resistance because they're not sure if the person on the other end is going to have that same level of empathy and understanding of
Mhm.
where they are. So to the point of that compassion fatigue, where an AI model that's been obviously trained in
Mhm.
several different areas of obviously addiction, grief, loss, lifestyle changes, possibly, in the LGBTQ plus community where there's a lot of different changes there, right? You're going to need somebody who can meet you with that same level of empathy at all times and not get the burnout brunt like we tend to do, where there's a productivity expectation in our healthcare system.
Right. And like we were talking about, being online and flip phones and all this stuff, and I was saying, used to be I left work and I was done with work. My
Yep.
weekend were weekends. For the past 20 years, I don't know what a weekend is. I don't know what a holiday is, because I have this thing in my hand that where email is constant, text or comment constant, and also working in behavioral health, there's no breaks. We don't know when a client is going to need extra support, or there's a cry. It can happen at 5 in the morning on Christmas Day, and we have to be.
Right.
So burnout is real, and our industry specifically, the burnout is real. And sometimes people go in burnout cycles. They'll burn
Mm.
out, come back, burn out again, come back, burn out again. And their self-care can be, tip top. They can be working out every day and meditating and praying and doing all the stuff, but other humans wear us out, like you were saying about the compassion fatigue. So let's use these tools to our advantage, but also to make an impact.
Yeah. Utilize it where it, number one, preserves your energy,
Yep.
right? Where you're able to show up better for your clients because you're not completely depleted,
Hmm.
right? This AI tool can, in the middle of the night, you're not taking a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing that you have 8 clients starting
Right.
at 7,
Right.
right? Also, being open to integrating new tools, right? And new workflows to be up with the current changing times that we're in,
Yeah.
right? Where there's constant stimulation all the time,
Mhm.
social media, email, text messages.
Dopamine, 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 dopamine.
Right. And you have to disconnect. And so, Rachel, for our audience who's tuning in, if they want to connect with you and
Mhm.
also maybe get a demo of how supportgroups.com works, and maybe if there's a professional out there, a therapist or,
Yep.
a mental health nurse who would love to be a part of the collective, how can they do that?
Absolutely. So we have a section on our website, supportgroups.com, for professionals. So anyone who wants to join, they're interested in running groups or being a part of it, they can go to supportgroups.com and apply as a professional. I personally will see their application. They can also email me. I don't often give my email out, but I'm going to give my email out to you. Is Rachel, Rachel, at supportgroups.com. Easy email. So in supportgroups.com, there is a discussion tab. That's the forum, free. Anyone can use it, post, get feedback from your peers. Then there is the meetings tab, and that's where our support groups are held. I actually have a free one coming up on Saturday on developing inner compassion. So if anyone wants to join that, you just go into the meetings tab on supportgroups.com, click register, and then the link to join will appear on Saturday. I believe it's 2 something California time, but you can look. And then there is the talk tab, and the talk tab is to talk to my avatar, Rachel, or you can also do the text option.
Excellent, excellent. So those of you who are interested, you can go to supportgroups.com, go to the discussion tab if you want to just see what people are asking, maybe some questions. Also, if you want to talk to someone, that's available as well. And then also go to a group, right? Like don't be afraid to try something new. And I even encourage Rachel, even mental health professionals to go to a group because I think a lot of times there's this, I'm going to call it the Tin Man syndrome,
Uh-huh.
where you have to be the strong one all the time. But
Yep.
sometimes you're allowed to be a patient. There's no shame in you having a moment where you need support too. So I highly encourage that as well.
I just want to thank you so much for saying that, because if my cup isn't being filled, then I can't be there for others. And some people make the mistake of like, well, I go to meetings and I do all this stuff for my clients. That isn't your work. That you're getting paid for that. You have to do something for yourself. So join our free group on Saturday, or you can talk to my AI avatar, Ancestral Intelligence. You can talk to her for 2 minutes for free. Check it out.
Yeah, to give it a shot. I mean,
Yeah,
give
try it.
yourself the permission to explore. I like to say that. And
Mhm.
also remember the power of choice, everybody. You get to choose how your outcome can be. You can choose to be proactive, where if you're feeling that burnout, that compassion fatigue, and you're just wanting to quit, remember that there's lots of resources out there. AI is a tool, it's not replacing you because it still needs you in order to function.
Well said, Portia. Very well said. Thank you.
Well, everybody, That was Miss Rachel Corbett that you heard from supportgroups.com. And that concludes another episode of Grew with Portia. And until next time, everybody, peace and hair grease, everyone.